Monday Bully Live. What is going on, fans? Man, do we have a good one for you today. We're going to be talking about line breeding, inbreeding. We're going to be talking about outcrossing. We're going to be talking about breeding XLs to pockets and everything else in between. Before I continue, let me bring in my guests. Without further ado, we got Gang Bullies. How about them Cowboys? Yeah, he's showing up even when they lose and get spit all over the place. He's showing
we still
up.
got the red ribbon.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Listen, I told you guys we were going to have a special guest today, and we have none other than Ty Guthrie. You know Ty Guthrie. Of course you do. Brayman Bull Bullies in the his eye. Let me bring him in. Yeah. What is going on, brother?
What's going on?
What's happening?
That was a clean introduction. I like that.
Hey, of course, man. I gotta be lively for everybody, right? Listen up. Let's take a quick look at our comments. We got Mark St. George, Mackenzie, looking forward to picking this up in the morning. Okay, we got Jerry James in the his eye.
What's up,
Kingdom Bully Kennels.
What's up, Kingdom?
We got Big Beach. Yo, what up, Bully fam?
What's up?
All right. Maurice Humboldt saying good evening, Bully fam.
Good evening.
Urban Broom. What's good with you?
Uber.
Hey, Ty, you want to say what's up? Feel free, man. We got Kahiki Sakat all the way from Hawaii in the house. We got Who Dat? John.
Hey,
oh, he had to hit you, man. He had to hit the Cowboy. Listen, I'm a Cowboy fan, but I can tell you already, this week 2 loss don't mean nothing, man.
Yeah.
Don't mean nothing yet.
We're down with the Saints too, though.
We got Stay Fresh. I like that name.
Me too. I like that name.
Bullies. Yeah. I like that. Stay Fresh. Ghost Dogs. Salute, Bully fam. What up? What up? Fresh XL Bully. Man, I guess that fresh name is popping up, huh?
All fresh. Yep.
Fresh Bully official tapping in. We got A&W Dracula Channels Bully. Hello from the UK. All right.
Okay.
Jerry James doing a koi for him.
Not sure to him this morning. He's talking about. I talked to him this morning about a koi.
Okay, so you was talking to him. Okay. Yeah, Lee Wellington, I'm excited about this. You got it, man. We're gonna break it down today, man. Kingdom Bully Kennels in the house. Kingdom Bully. Ray Thompson Sr., get your notebooks ready. Hey, Kingdom Bully Kennels. Remember that name. That's all I'm gonna say. Here we go. Travis Solomon, sup, Bully fam? It's a rock.
What up?
We got Stay Fresh coming at it again. Checking in. Good evening, Bully fam. We got Brandon Stanfield. What's going on? Excited to see Raymond Bull Bullies on the live. Let me stop this here for a second. Do y'all understand why it is we brought Ty Guthrie on here? First of all, let me explain something to you. Ty Guthrie is a member from Raymond Bull Bullies. He's a member of this channel. He's up in here commenting, going back forth, this, that, and third. But also, he is a newer breeder. And we're about to get into this big old discussion up in here. And hopefully he asks the newer breeder questions so we can get as much reach in the conversation as possible. Just keeping it real with you. Just like Kyle is keeping it real. Letting you know, QBN fam, let's get that knowledge. You know the drill. We're here to grow and learn and support our community. Please hit those likes and shares so we can grow together. And welcome to the team. Check him out, man.
Hey, shout out Ronnie, man, from New Hampshire, man.
All right, Ronnie from New Hampshire. We got Dave Cumberbatch. There you go. Blessings, family, and guests. We got Tobago Bully Breeds all the way from Trinidad and Tobago. Woo. All right, Ronnie F. New Hampshire in the house. All right. Fields, man. Y'all showing up in numbers today, man. I'm liking this. All right, man. Too much reverb.
Dracula Kennel asks, what they sound for being a member?
What do you mean?
A&W Dracula Kennel Bullies. Where's the sound for being a member?
Where is my sound for being? Oh, I didn't know you had to become a new member. Just give me the second cow.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
I'll do it again. You got me off guard.
Pues claro que sí, cabrón.
Pues claro que sí, cabrón. There you go. Oh, there you go. Yeehaw. All right, baby. All right. Hey, let's start talking, man. Let's start talking so we can start getting into these questions, man. Nothing but love. Make it interactive. I want to spin this wheel. I want to be giving you guys free Nuvet. By the way, for those of you that don't know, Nuvet and NuJoint DS, the only multivitamin and joint support that we use, 90-day supply. Right here, man, you can actually have these two things for less than 50 cents a day. And what you're going to be giving your dogs is not only correction on the orthopedic side or clearing dietary east-west. More importantly, it's got over three ingredients inside of it that actually fights cancer. So whether you have yourself an older dog, a new dog, a dog that's pregnant, or just gave birth, Nuvet, NuJoint DS, we're going to leave the link below with our code 513237. You can buy this stuff in stores, man. Let's get this thing going, man. So, hey, I decided since we were going to be talking about line breeding, and we're going to be talking about inbreeding, and we're going to be talking about everything else in between, I said, you know what? Let me come up with a little example that's oversimplified. Guys, before I show you this example, don't go nail me to the cross, okay? I made this super simple just so we could have a conversation, all right? So we have a mom, right? And we embark her. And let's just say, just for the sake of argument, there was 4 categories. We have the front, the head, the femur, and the stifle. Okay? Now, you guys remember, I've said when they're identical, right? That's called what? Homozygotic, right? And when they're different, they're heterozygotic, right? So, Gaines Bullies, that front, is it homozygotic or is it heterozygotic?
Hetero.
Ty Guthrie, the head, is it hetero or is it homozygotic?
Okay, so run through this one more time. You cut out.
Okay. If they're the same, that is homozygotic, meaning same. If they are different, they are heterozygotic. So when you go to head right here and you see 2 white dots next to each other, is that homo or hetero?
On front right here, it would be...
No, not front. Head. They already answered front. Give me head.
Oh, head. That's the same. That's homo.
Okay, so that's homozygotic, right? Talk to me about femur, Ty. Femur, is that hetero or is that homo?
That's hetero. I didn't see your chart there at first. That's why.
Okay, you seeing it now, and then kid it. On the stifle, is that hetero or homo?
Stifle. You asking me?
All the way to bottom.
Stifle right there. That is hetero.
Excellent. So we can all agree there's only one homozygotic pair out of these 4 traits on mom, correct? And that would be the head. Now, for all intents and purposes of this conversation we're going to be having, the head, when it's white, when it's a white circle, it means smaller head, right? So what will we do? What can we do as far as, bringing in a stud in order to bring a stud with a bigger head? Do you think we should do an outcross, which will bring more heterozygotic pairs, maybe an inbreed or an inbred dog, so we could bring more homozygotic pairs? What do y'all think over there, Gaines?
I think you need to bring that. You can bring in either or outcross or inbred, but it's gonna take 2 generations to get a bigger head from that chart.
Bring a homo red.
So what'll happen? You big head male that's a homo.
Yeah.
So that's 2 reds. So it's only gonna capture a white and a red, and then you do it again with another 2 red.
So wait, don't go into all that detail. You're saying bring an inbred male? Yes or no?
Either or. I'm looking 2 years down the road, 3 years.
Bring in a male carrying big head, 2 copies of big head.
Right.
2 copies of big head, right? Would you agree, Guthrie?
Yeah, something that comes from big heads for sure.
Okay, so let's say this for those of you out there that don't know this. Big head is a recessive trait, which means it comes in pairs. You can't just have one allele that says, okay, we're having the big head, and the other one says no. If that happens, you have a carrier, but you're not going to show a big head. In order to show a big head, they both got to be big, right? All right. So let's do that. Let's bring in Dad, right? And let's break down Dad here for a second. So Gaines, talk to me on the front. Is Dad homozygotic or heterozygotic?
He homo, but I don't know if he east-westy or if he got
okay,
if he got weak pastraries or whatever.
No, actually, I'm gonna give you what it is.
Okay.
So actually, he has a correct front.
Okay.
So white circle on the front means correct front.
Correct. Okay.
So mom may have a little east-west on her, or she might have a little something, right? Because she ain't fully correct. Now on the head, Ty. On the head, is Dad homozygotic or is he heterozygotic?
He's homo.
Homo, right? And we just said that 2 white circles on head means small head, right? That's what Mom has. So Dad has 2 red circles, so that means big. Is that not what you asked for, Donald?
Yes.
Yeah.
You wanted a dog with a big head that had it on both. Okay. Right. Now, for the rest, femurs or stifle, or femur and stifle, can we all agree that it's homozygotic? The pairs are all white.
Right.
Okay. So let me ask you this. And those of you that are hold on, man, we got people. Woohoo! We got people up in here, man. Nothing but love, man. Stay fresh, Hank, all 3OB, Miriam, Echo, Asher, Gary Asher, and Felicia. I saw flyers saying you guys presented the breeding. Man,
yep.
I don't know, man. They just nothing but love, man. Stay fresh going off. What's up, fam? Great to see you. Huh?
I missed the one by Gary and Felicia. That's some friends of ours.
Oh, okay. Let me rewind. My bad. It says he's QGB's Hank of 30B's Champion Brim times OTFK Echo that Gary Asher and Felicia Followwill did. I saw a flyer saying you guys presented the breeding.
Yeah,
I'm not sure who he
and
was.
That was Big Hank off of that breeding. Yeah,
okay,
that was Big Hank off that breeding. There's a Rocco daughter bred to Grim.
Okay, good deal. Right now, Kingdom Bullies is saying, "Big head, come on, big head." Kingdom Bully wants to see that big head come through, right? He wants to see that big head come through. But now we got something that's called probability. You see?
Yeah.
What happens is when Mom and Dad get together, right? We're gonna do something called recombination. Okay, what you're really seeing at over here where it says Mom, she has 2 X's where these traits are going to be sprinkled in there. In Dad's case, he only has 1 X, right? Where we're going to sprinkle his traits because his Y gene is only used to determine the sex of the pup. So it's not there to recombinate. It's not there to do any of that. So I ran the probabilities through a Punnett square, right? Some of these is 50-50. So I'm going to give an answer, may not be the answer we want, but in all reality, there's a 50-50 chance it could have been. And I'll break that down here in a second. But boom, this is what you get. All of a sudden, we got a puppy with a correct front. What do you know? Mom is a carrier, right? She has 1 white and 1 red, and Dad has 2 white. When you do the Punnett square, it comes out a 50-50 shot.
Right.
So you could have had a pup that could have been not fully east-west or could have been a little crooked. Right. All right. But in this case, he's good to go. But we're trying to correct Mom's head. So what happened to the head, Mike? Talk to me. You
didn't get the head you wanted, but you got a carrier of the head.
explain to me how we got that white dot and how we got that red dot, man.
It's 50-50, man.
No, but tell me how. Tell me where did each of them
give one dot.
Each of them gave a dot. Yeah, you got 50-50. So you got 2 whites, 2 reds. So you split the difference. Okay. And now you got a carrier instead of a big head.
Okay.
Big head.
She didn't have a red dot to give.
Right.
So we knew this is the best it could be.
Okay.
That's the best possible outcome that you could have gotten.
Unless you were wanting a little head.
Yeah.
So let's just say this puppy's a female, by the way. Ty Guthrie, talk to me about the femur.
The femur. You got a, well, it's hetero, so I mean.
You got one from mom and you got one from dad, didn't you?
Yeah.
Right? Mom has a white and red dot. Dad has 2 white dots. Whatever's going on. Right. So mom, I'm going to let you know. So double white means you're clear of stiff stifles. Okay. Or better yet, let me leave that for stifle. Let's just say white means a medium size femur. White red means a longer femur. And we both know that the longer the femur is, the less angulation you're going to have, right? Yeah. So the pup ended up just like her mom with a bit of a longer femur, man. Go ahead, Mike.
If I'd have done the Punnett square on there, it should have been the same all the way down. It's
50-50. Hold on. We got Kyle waving me down. What you got, Kyle?
Hey, Mike, what I was going to say was you got to realize this is just one out of all them other puppies. Some of them don't have the same. Right. They'll have that head, but they're going to have a difference on the front, a difference on the femur, and a difference on the stifle. So this might just be one of those pups.
We talk about that pup right there, though. We're not talking about the rest of
We're just talking about that one possibility. Thanks for that, Kyle.
Thank you, Kyle.
And remember I said before coming here that some of these things, because they're 50-50, they could have been one way or another. Right now, us 4, right? We're trying to get a big head. We're trying to get big head, right?
Yeah.
And we're trying to fix this pup. So us 4, based on this scenario, we're going to have to break it down to get the very best scenario possible. Okay. So if you see the femur is a little bit too long, right? So Donald, talk to me about the stifle. Is that homozygotic or heterozygotic?
Oh, that would be heterozygotic is what we came out with.
Right. And dad has perfect stifles. He's got double white, but mom, she got red and white. She a carrier. She could give you good, but when you run the Punnett square, when you run that red white versus that white, what you get is a 50-50 shot, right? Yeah. And in this case, she doesn't have the best stifle.
They drew the short straw.
So this scenario playing out the way we played it out. What do you? Okay, so we got mom and dad. That's generation 0. We got puppy, generation 1. Ty, what would you do to fix this?
To fix stifle?
To fix this puppy. This puppy we just produced. What can we do to fix her?
Well, your fronts are good. So, I mean, you're going to have to find something with head and good rear angulation.
That's fair. Do you guys agree, Gaines?
What he said, head and good angulation. Now, what was the question again? I got caught on a comment.
How can we fix this puppy?
You're looking for good femur and stifle because that puppy is lacking, but it's got it in it to produce good femur and stifle.
Go ahead, Mike.
I'm doing like Kyle said. Now we looking at the rest of the pups, or we looking at this pup now?
No, we look. This is your puppy. This is the puppy you kept off that litter because that puppy winked at you 2 times, and you pick puppies based on your lucky charms, right?
Lucky charm, yeah.
And it winked at you twice, and that's what you went with. But now you need to fix what you got in front of you.
Yeah. Like I said before, when you had the first scenario, just the mom. I said it's gonna take 2 generations to get that big head you wanted. Okay. So now I would have to do the exact same thing. Is look for them recessive genes there.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Now, let me just ask you guys this. If we embarked mom and we embarked dad and they were completely clear, now this pup is a female, would it be a good idea to inbreed her to dad?
Oh, good one. Good one. Yeah, good one.
What's that? What'd you say, Ty?
I said it wouldn't be a bad breeding depending on her COI.
Okay.
That's a good one.
How high would that COI be before you say it's not a good idea?
Low 20s. I mean,
okay. Okay. How about you, Gaines? Does the COI go ahead?
So dad, just say he got a COI of 20.
Uh-huh.
The pup, just say half of that. He gonna get half of that. So just say it's a 10.
Right.
So the mom and the dad there, that would have been his pup, that female. So she got half of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then that pup is only gonna get a quarter of it that way off of her.
A quarter? How'd you get a quarter?
For half. So we go a full glass, a 3/4 glass, a half a glass.
No, this pup is 50. This pup is 50-50 mom and dad.
So 50 dad, right? Part of dad. So 50-50 mom and dad.
Yes. That's why if dad was a 20, we're expecting a 10.
That's right. So he'd be a 10. So what would that female pass over from the dad?
Well, the female that we're looking at, right? Based on the breeding and this right here that we're looking at, this one puppy got her daddy's front. She's clean up front.
Got out of it.
And she also picked up being a carrier, big head carrier.
So we're no longer looking at the COI on that bottom female. We're looking at the traits that it carried, the recessive traits that we want.
Well, here's the deal, to be fair, because I did say this is an oversimplified way of showing it. Recessive traits will outnumber dominant traits like 100 million to 1, or I'm exaggerating, maybe 1 million to 1. So I'm just oversimplifying it.
Okay.
But if we look at this puppy, we can say this puppy took her dad's front. She's now a big head carrier. We didn't have that before, right? Because mom, she's double white, right, on the head. And we need some help on the femur and stifle. So she's a carrier there, but she ain't showing the best yet, right?
Yeah.
So let's say dad was a 20 and the pup was a 10. Would you inbreed?
Yeah.
Okay. How about you, Donald?
I think so. If you liked what you were seeing,
if I'm liking that, yes.
Yeah. Of course, if you like what you were seeing and you were wanting to get a male producer that odds are was a better producer, you would want to increase the COI and hopefully have something that could remake itself.
Okay. How about you, Ty? Dad is in the 20 and daughter's at 10. Would you do it?
I would run it.
I would definitely run it. I would definitely run it because look,
Jerry James said dad 75.
Well, that would be okay. So Jerry James saying dad would be 75 if you inbreed pup with dad.
Right.
And that would be coefficient of relation.
Right.
And the only reason I say that is because recombination has a way of screwing up the logical way of seeing it.
Right.
And coefficient of relation is a logical way of seeing it. Right. But yes, you're running at no more than 75% that you can reproduce dad. But in my intention, we're just trying to get a right head. Now, if we went ahead and ran that puppy to dad, let's run a hypothetical here. So on the front, pup is white and dad is white. So we should have 90% of the pups coming out with straight feet, correct? In the front. Okay. In head, she is white red and he's red, which means we're going to run a 50-50. So 50% of the pups are going to have red like dad. The other 50% is going to be a carrier just like mom, correct?
Right.
And the same holds true for femur and stifle. So before you even decide to do the inbreeding, going into it, do you think that you're going to fix more problems than you're going to create? Again, this is an oversimplified version and whatnot, but this pup, seeing that you had mom on your hand, she didn't have a correct front, she had a small head, femur and stifle needed help. Now with dad, you're going to have a correct front, 50% of the heads are going to be right, 50% going to be carriers, then 50% of the femurs and stifles are going to be good to go, and the rest are going to be carriers. Would you consider that an improvement?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, that's an improvement, right?
And that's where you can bring in your Outcross. But I got a couple questions here. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to what you call it, but
no, shoot.
Everybody had their opinion of how they would do it. You know,
right.
Some agree and some disagree, but it's just your opinion on how you breed. It don't mean it's right or wrong, but you breeding for different things. You know what I mean? You may concentrate just on the COI without looking at the dog and stick to them, say textbook of that, or you could create a dog. You know what I mean? Either way, is it however you would like to do it. It ain't no wrong way to do it.
Well,
depend on
you're
what
right.
you do. Yeah,
no,
depend on what you're doing.
You're right, man. If your approach is different, you felt, you know, who am I or anyone to wag the finger at you? I'm not. Mm-hmm. But one of the reasons you don't want to inbreed a son to the mother is because of the autosomal recessive traits that there's not an embark or a genetic test out there that's going to be able to show them all. There's hundreds of thousands of them. And what ends up happening is those autorecessive traits can show up in a variety of ways. For example, it could be a scenario where your males have eye issues, but they don't pass it on to their offspring. Females' eyesight is perfect, but their offspring eyesight is screwed up. Mm-hmm. You see, so in order not to run into those things, what is just recommended, again, there's no right or wrong, but what's more recommended is to do a daughter to father, so you don't run into those autosomal recessive traits.
No, I totally agree with that. Exactly. But they were just saying, like, if the dog COI is a 30 and this dog COI is 20, I would go look for another stud. And I'm like, hey, that's cool. You know what I mean? I'm saying it's cool. But look, it just depends on what you're building.
Let's talk about that COI. Let's talk about that COI. So me personally, right? If I am breeding XLs, I would say the borderline of a high koi is 27. Because we got so much influx of so much other stuff. Honestly, bro, if you're not putting a stamp on a 30 koi in there, it's just not coming through. Right. This is why you look at standards and you look at pockets, and there's so much more vibrant in breed standard, and you know, they show it so much more. Typically, their koi is running 5 to 7 points higher. Yeah, that's their gene pool. You see where I'm getting at? Yeah. But just because I consider 27 to be the borderline, if this male was, say, a 30 and daughter was a 15, man, I don't know, man. I would probably talk myself into the breeding. I'm not even going front. I probably would talk myself into the breeding. You were talking about 3 points. I mean, as long as they're clear. I
was going to remind you of that. Clear. Yeah.
As long as they're 100% clear. If I'm looking at 30-15, 30-18, man, I would probably have to talk myself. I would probably talk myself into walking to that ledge.
What about 14-20 in the side of the 20 being the daughter?
And the dad is a 14?
Yeah.
That's crazy that you asked that, because that possibly can happen.
Right.
It can happen. I saw it happen with my boy Fireball. Quick story. Now that you said that, Fireball is running around with a koi of 12. I inbred him to his daughter. He had a son with a koi of 36. So this boy is 3 times more Fireball than Fireball is himself.
Right.
Yep.
Right. No, if she was 20 and he was 14, I still run it. I feel that 20 and 14, you're where I'll probably draw the line. Okay, where I'll probably draw the line, say dad is 32 and daughter's 24.
Right.
Yeah, bro. I mean, they're only 8 points away, man. That's pretty rough. You know what I'm saying? If it was 8 points, like say he was a 20 and she was a 12, no big deal. But at 32 to 24, man, that's
is that because a lot of the recessives are now going to match up?
Yes, because now we sidestep the autosomal recessives because of mom. Okay, but that does not mean that you're completely in the clear. Like I said, there is not a test out there that's going to test for the hundreds of thousands of recessive traits. And now you just seen here with the example I gave how she became homozygotic in the front, but once I breed dad to her, we know that half the litter is going to have homozygotic head, femur, and stifle. We know it. So, how about those genes that we're not seeing in the background? Yeah, they match up too.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And hold on, we got Kyle over here. What's up, Kyle?
Just curious, because I'm looking at this with the head, would that be 75% on the pundit square because you got 2 red dots and a white and red dot if we draw it out?
No, I'm gonna draw it out real quick. I'm gonna show you how it's 50-50.
Just curious. I was just asking.
No, I appreciate you asking, bro. I appreciate you asking. All right. Here we go.
And a lot of people don't realize you're just simplifying this. There's a lot more factors.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
So you said the head, right? So we said mom has circles.
No, I'm talking the dad and the pup. If you did the dad back to the female pup.
It's the same.
You're
the same 50-50. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you how it's 50-50. So just so I can show you guys, I'm going to make the red circle a square, okay? So we're going to say dad is square at the top and daughter is circle square, okay? And we're going to run it, right? So this is daughter. Hold on, guys. I'm about to show you. Daughter, and this is dad, right? So there you go. So we got dad at the top, the 2 squares, and we have daughter circle square, right? So this is what it's going to look like, guys. This is what's going to look like. Circle, square, and then circle, square, and then square, 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 square. So there's your 50-50.
I see. Yeah, I was getting mixed up. I was thinking, I don't know what I was thinking, but that makes a lot more sense to me.
Yeah, there's your 50-50. Okay. And all I'm doing is just lining up the square with the circle, square, square, and then over here, square with a circle, and then square, square. So that leads to 50%. 50% will be carriers, and 50% will have the head that dad has. All right.
That's what I was curious.
You got it, man. Absolutely. That's what we're here for. Now we got A&W Dracula Kennels Bullies saying, how do you identify a defect from a handicap? Wow, that's such a broad question.
Right.
I don't know, man. You need to be more specific. If the dog is limping and the leg is longer than the other, you got a handicap.
Yeah.
If it's not, it's not. I mean, you gotta be just a little bit more specific, man. We got Furman saying, I have a mentor, ABKC judge told me, a female with a small head, you have more options for you. You have more room to grow and build the head how you want it. if that makes any sense. Yes. No. Listen to what was told. Mike, listen. No one is saying that having a small head is a good thing. No one is saying that. All they're saying is that a female with a small head, you have more options. So when it's time for you to fix it, you're going to have more options as to what direction you want to go. Having a small head is never a good thing because it's a problem you're going to have to fix. And even here, we're talking about an inbreeding, and we're looking at 2 generations minimum just to fix a small head. So no one is saying a small head is a good thing. The one good thing about having that problem, I guess, is the fact that then you can decide what head shape it is that you want. Do you want the extreme head shape? We got a lot of people right now bypassing the show standard and they're wanting more extreme traits, right? Or do you want more of the exact standard type of head, right? I can respect that. If your girl already has a small head, well, you always try to be positive. On the bright side, I get to think what kind of head I want to put on.
On the bright side, she just has one.
I say get another mentor, man.
Oh, man. Well, I will say I'm pretty sure the way the question was asked, more likely than not, I'm sure the mentor said having a small head is not good, but since you have it,
you might be able to affect things like 2-finger versus 4-finger muzzle length and things like that. That might be an importance in
the head gonna be the same whether extreme or not. The head should be to standard.
Well, Furman is saying also there. Hold on a second. Now, Ty, why are you so quiet over there, man? What do you think about that?
I agree with that because if you have a female with a small head, you can pick any shape you want to improve it. And I mean, you can go any direction. You can go with a 100% correct stop on a muzzle, 2-finger, 4-finger, just like those guys were saying. You have any direction you want.
So, do you rather have a female with a small head or a big head?
Go ahead and give me the big one.
So you rather have a big head with a 4-finger muzzle? I'm sorry, 4-finger length of muzzle where you got to shorten it, or do you rather have a small head with a 2-finger muzzle?
I feel like I would rather have one that I have to shorten than to have to put a.
Okay, I agree with you, man. I'd rather go with a big head that I got to shorten rather than having to get a small head and build it up. Now, Kyle wants me to ask or talk about the importance of koi when breeding. So, Ty, you're the guest today, man. Tell me what you know about koi, man. What have you learned about koi in this channel?
It's one of the only things that can even out your male and female, with your female passing the mitochondrial DNA. And if you go to a male that has a lower koi, a higher koi than your female, then you can even that out rather than your 60-40. You can bring it to a 50-50 or maybe even a 60-40 the other way.
Okay, we have a question. We have a question from D-Mac 4RM the West, and he's asking, how is koi calculated? Can you tell him how koi is calculated, Ty?
Go
ahead, Mike.
His first answer.
Yeah,
I like his answer. He just answered about the COI.
Right. He giving the male a fighting chance is a summation of it.
Okay. But how do we calculate the koi? How's the koi calculated?
To be honest, I really don't know. I know Jerry goes back 8 generations. I know that. I don't know what his science is to it.
Okay. Listen, I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I do want to see what a new breeder has to say. Go ahead, Mike.
He said the right answer. He made a phone call to Jerry James.
Yeah.
Jerry James is the expert at it. You don't have to be an expert at nothing, but if you can make a phone call and talk to the expert, you're good to go, man. You got the answer.
Yep.
All right.
You can be you can broker your intelligence out.
There you
know.
And this is true.
I got an issue. Hey, Raul. Hey, what about this, man? What do you see on here? Look at this.
Well, hey, first thing I'm gonna ask you: are you a channel member? Are you a channel member? You better be a channel member before I'm gonna answer that question. But I'm gonna tell you guys how koi is calculated. The way it's calculated is a sample is taken. So you guys know how embark is done. You get a swab, and you're supposed to put it inside of the dog's cheek, and you're supposed to rotate it back and forth, forward and back, a good amount. And then you put it inside of this little thing. Well, when they receive that sample, they're going to start running it, right? And they're going to determine, based on the sample size, how many identical pairs do they have compared to the entirety of the sample. So an inbred dog, for example, in our breed, can be anywhere in the 40s, low 40s to mid 30s. An outcross dog could be anywhere from single digits all the way to 10, 11, even 12. The breed average is somewhere around 12 to 14. Okay. And that would be more like, I don't even want to say line breeding. I want to say far away line breeding. If you line breed, you're going to be hitting 18s and 20s pretty fast. So that's how the coefficient of inbreeding is calculated. All right. Let me see here, guys. I'm trying to catch up because I know I'm a little further behind on the chat.
Before you go to the question, Raul, I want to backtrack to the guy that was talking about the ABKC mentor.
Yes.
That's something that I've realized that I feel like a lot of newer breeders could benefit from. Is a lot of guys will take one mentor and that's their mentor. And the way that I've kind of came about and kind of thought about it is, if I can get a mentor here, mentor here, mentor here, and I have a question that I don't have the answer to, and I ask all three of these guys, or 5, 6, however many that I'm listening to, if 5 of them give me the same answer and one of them gives me a different answer, then that gives me a lot more confidence in these 5.
Here's the thing, Ty, and that sounds real good theoretically. Mm-hmm. But this is the American bully community. The way it works is, I'm going to tell you how it works. They're going to run to Gaines Bullies. They're going to get Mike Green and Donald Gaines over there to be their mentor. They're going to run to you, Ty, because you've been in this for about a year. So a dude that just walks in the door, you could be their mentor.
Yeah.
And they're going to run to me. Mm-hmm. So now they got themselves 4 mentors. And they're going to say, hey, should we do son to mother breeding? Come to Raul, and I say, no, man, because autosomal recessive traits, blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. They're going to go to Mike Green. Mike Green says, yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm. They're going to go to Donald, and Donald's going to say no, because I think I heard Raul say something about autosomal recessive genes. They're going to come to you, and you're going to be like, no, because I remember the live, we went to autosomal recessive gene. In this community, what they're going to do is they're going to try to make me fight Mike Green.
Yeah.
Or get Donald
Mike
Gaines.
ain't gonna take pictures for you no more.
You're done.
You're going to see Mike Green struggling. You know, unfortunately, in this community, that happens. This is what I'm going to tell you. If you have yourself several mentors, you owe them the respect that if they didn't agree in the majority of if they weren't in the majority of the one question you did ask, the least you could do is ask them for their explanation.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Do your research, irregardless, even if they all agree. Because here's the deal. We get too used to, hey, does a circle peg go in a square hole? No. Okay, great. So you walk away. I just gave you the immediate answer, but you don't know why it is that square that circle does not go in the square hole. I mean, in the square hole. It's always good to go back and research it. This way, you know the whys. because I don't care what mentor you have. You could have Mike Green, Donald Gaines, me, Ty Guthrie, dude down the street. Sooner or later, you're going to figure out that they're going to be giving you their opinion.
Right. Exactly.
Because we have learned whatever little bit we learned, we figured it out. We now know how the algorithm works within that little bit we learned. So now we automatically will develop opinions. Yeah. It's natural. It's human nature. You know, let me ask you this. Here, look. So go ahead, Mike.
I'm saying, like, what we would give you will only pertain to our yard. We ain't speaking to the breed as whole. So we can say what trial and error or whatever, how we done things, how it worked for us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The people that I love to gain mentorship from is more a personality style than it is, because I really don't want a dictator telling me how to breed dogs, but I want them to be kind of like we are. You know, enjoy it the whole way and feel got a good enough relationship with them that sometimes they'll say, this is just my opinion. And, you know, that carries a lot of weight with when me and Mike deal with people.
I will say this, like, when I was given the scenario of the 6 versus 5.
Sorry, Ty. Sorry. You already know we have a little running joke here, man. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
When I was given the scenario, the 5 versus 1, if that one gives me an educated reason behind, you know, no matter if he doesn't or not, I'm still going to research it. I'm going to look at it that much harder if he gives me an educated answer.
Right.
I agree. Also, you got to realize personality plays a role.
Yes.
I could almost guarantee you, of us 4 in here, if we had to do an inbreeding, there's various levels or different boxes each one of us is gonna check. Some of us may be riskier than others.
Yeah.
Let me give you an example. Say you have a breeder that's got 10 females and 3 males, and you have this other breeder that's got 1 male and 1 female, right? And they both have an option to inbreed. Well, the dude that's got 10 females is risking a lot less than that one dude that only has that 1 female. You see what I'm saying? So you gotta be able to see it from that point as well. I got Michael Higginson saying, I have a question. If you have a female that is the backbone of your program, but her koi is a 35, how do you bring in the traits that she doesn't have without pushing the koi over the top? This is an excellent question. And Kyle's letting me know that Michael Higginson might have hit the spin. But Ty Guthrie, since you're the guest, you tell me, is that question good enough to deserve a spin?
No. Yeah, I'm joking.
Okay. So go ahead and answer that question before we get into the spinning.
I would say slowly but surely. I mean, that's off of my knowledge. That's slowly but surely. That's the only way that I could really being done.
Well, let me say this. I agree with you, but I mean, you got to give me more than surely, slowly but surely. So let's put up this scenario. Okay. So Mike, let me bring up the question so everyone's well aware of it. So if I had a female that was like dad up here probably is at 35%. All the, at least in this scenario, all his genes are homozygotic. If I wanted to fix dad, it would be reverse engineering, meaning in this case, we were fixing mom, so we need more homozygotic of the good genes. But if dad had bad genes and I needed to break that down, the way you break it down is you need to outcross.
Yeah.
You need to bring that koi down, you need to outcross, and you need to break those bad homozygotic pairs, right? That's the only way you're going to do it. It's just going to be reverse engineer of exactly what we did there.
That's what I was meaning, like slowly. It's not going to be a one.
Oh, no.
It's
like Jared James said, you do exactly what you said, Outcross, but you want to look for the phenotype, something that match your dogs that carry the same. Hopefully, they correct as the male that you got doing it with. That way, you're able to bring, produce a consistent litter, bring in that fresh gene pool.
Well, Jerry's saying, he's saying, Michael, Outcross with high koi male.
Yeah.
With traits, and that's fair, but it has to be an outcross, and it has to be a complete outcross.
Yeah,
and the phenotypes need to be
phenotypes similar. Exactly. I could definitely agree with Jerry James. By the way, Jerry James, I love you, Jerry James. Yeah. Watch out now. You didn't know I could sing, now did you?
I'm in love with
Jerry
James. He's my main thing.
Oh man, we having too much fun today. We got Kiku Mazga, NWA Corso, is dog breeder who's a member YouTuber and still receives the same outcomes with just a different selection process because he breeds dogs that the program supersedes many dog breeders program. I'm sorry. I don't know if I read it wrong, but I got tripped up at the end of that question or that statement, better yet.
No, just
listen, I will say this much. Because there are these recessive genes that we don't see, and they're in the hundreds of thousands. Definitely when you have a bloodline, okay, and a bloodline is when you have a closed genetic pool, okay, meaning these dogs somehow are all related somehow. They either have a common denominator 3 generations away, 2 generations away, sometimes even 1 generation away. What ends up happening is when you start line breeding, there is something within the genetic polygenetic lines. They'll start compounding. So when 2 recessive traits, right, are identical and then are together, and then you breed it with another dog that has the same recessive traits on the same line and the same everything, what ends up happening is you start multiplying these traits. They start to compound. Okay. Yeah, they'll start to compound. Let me give you an example. I had a dog that I started out with that his parents were a half brother, half sister breeding. Both parents had blue eyes. This dog I got had blue eyes. When he grew, I bred him to a female with brown eyes. You can go to whatever Punnett Square you want. Brown will trump blue every day and 10 times on Sunday. This dude produced 2 puppies, and one of the 2 had blue eyes. Wow. Okay. This craziness, right? So this female, she grows, Genesis. And I breed her to a dog that has brown eyes. She produces half her litter with blue eyes. How in the world are you producing blue eyes with a brown-eyed dog? And you came out of a brown-eyed, your dad is brown-eyed. Well, what happened is you rewind the tape. When that half-brother, half-sister breeding came in, they only have a possibility of 50% of their genes matching identical, right? Because there were only half siblings on the father's side. But those blue eyes, they were completely homozygotic, and when you put one on top of the other, they compounded. They became stronger than a dominant gene, believe it or not. This is how his grandchild had 6 pups and 3 came out with blue eyes, and you're like, how the hell did this happen? Right? Yeah. I mean, I was in shock. Here I was doing Punnett Squares, and I couldn't, until finally I came across somebody that broke that down for me. Talk to me, Hollywood.
The spin.
Don't forget the spin.
All right, Hollywood. Here we go, man. Here we go. Let's bring the spin. And hold on a second, man, because I was going to tell you guys important information. Before we do that, Let's go straight to the spin for Michael Higginson. All right, all the way in Arkansas. What you got?
I said the spin's been brutal lately.
It's been brutal, man. It's been brutal. But tell you what, you tell me when to hit it to spin it.
All right, go ahead.
There we go.
See if it's got some good luck.
Come on, Michael Higginson. Oh!
Yes, sir.
Booyah! Booyah! All right, Mike. All right, Mike. You got 50% stud credit on Fireball. Do me a favor and contact. You know who? My favorite director in the background, Hollywood. And you can do it by downloading QBN app. And what? No.
Hey, Ty, no more. You don't get to choose no more.
Yeah, no, man, you're screwing up the wheel, Ty. You're screwing up the wheel.
that wheel might be hot tonight.
Yeah. Michael Higginson, get in touch with Hollywood, and I'll send you the contract out. You got 50% on Fireball, man. Is that simple? Let's see, man. Let's see what questions we got up here. Question for the host, members, please relay the question. How's y'all's culling process? Okay, Kiku Mazga, man, you have a lot of questions today, yet you're not a member. Remember, man, for as little as $5 a month, you could become a member, and we could have this on a daily basis every time we come on live. What is your process on culling, guys? I'm going to let you guys go first. Either one.
I haven't produced.
Okay, fair enough. Gaines, what you got?
So when you say culling, like the pups that don't stand out and you don't want to keep them?
Possibly pups that you don't even want to see producing. A pup is born, say, with a cleft palate, for example.
Oh. We ain't ran into that yet. We ain't had those issues, but it would be it would go to the right home, pet home, and fix and everything else. So we hadn't ran into that part of the breeding yet.
Yeah, chances are the cleft palate. I think nature doesn't intend that pup to survive, so I wouldn't take a lot of action to save that as far as a surgery. But if a pup came out just because it was ugly, we would never cull. We would just go through the process of trying to pet home that pup.
Mm-hmm.
It would have to have a major deformality.
Right. Yeah. That's what. Yeah. That's exactly what.
Say you have a pup whose testicle doesn't drop or something like that. From me, what you're going to get is a spay contract, and not just. I'm not going to just spay the pup right away. The way I do it is I'm going to charge you $2,000, and you get $1,000 back if at 18 months you can show me something from your vet that you neutered the pup. You neutered the pup at 18 months. Here's $1,000. It's going to be, you may use the $1,000 to cover the very neuter. But that's how I would do it. Now if I get something crazy like a pup born with 2 heads or missing limbs or something crazy like that, which has never happened, knock on wood. But if it did, then I probably would put them down. Quality of life for me for that pup is probably head over heels more important than anything. Hollywood, get the bell ready, man, because we got Jeremy Davis just became member. Claro que sí, cabrón. Every Monday at 8 p.m. CST, man. Nothing but love, bro. Appreciate you. Thanks for coming on, Jeremy. Ask your questions, man. We're going to answer before you get off, man. It says, screw extreme, breed a balanced dog. That's what Jerry James is saying, man. That's what I'm talking about. He says, no extreme. Jeremy Davis says, I have a pocket bully pup with a koi of 10. Is that a decent koi level?
You can do anything.
You can. You can do anything with a koi of 10. Here's the deal. I don't think that, unless it's extremely high or extremely low, I don't think koi is good or bad. It's almost like it's giving me information as to how I can use you. Are you going to extract traits when it's time to produce, or are you going to push forward? That's really what a koi is telling you when you're setting up a breeding. Do you guys, how do you guys feel about that?
I think when I'm thinking of koi and all that, it's exactly like you said, man. But when I'm thinking of it in my head, I'm envisioning a different type of dog. You know what I mean? So I don't know what everybody, to the breed standard, what they think that standard is. But we're in the ring a lot and we see thousands of dogs, and we got an idea we want. So if you just got a dog that don't meet the standard, but you still trying to create a dog off a standard by adding a high COI on another dog that don't meet the standard,
right?
It don't even matter. Like, you have to know what you're breeding, and you really have to understand the breed.
So let's give an example
before we dive into all the other stuff.
You really can't, if you are into producing pups that are better than the parents, you're just kind of smoking shit. You know what I mean? Just if you get one of them recreated, it should be a successul breeding. That's why you got to start with a fairly high level of a dog.
Get that master. This is true. So let's give an example. That way we could almost all be on the same sheet of music. And so you have a dog that's east-west, and he's got a koi of 10. Mm-hmm. How do we fix it?
Put him with something straight.
Okay. But do you want to put him with something straight with a koi of 5?
No, he won't hire for sure.
How much higher? 15?
I'm shooting for at least 10 higher. If you've got one with a 10,
20.
Yeah, I'm wanting at least a 20 somewhere in there.
Right.
I think visually you would want maybe to go with a little taller dog in trying to straighten something out. Mm-hmm. If you go with a shorter, more wide, beefy dog, you're probably not going to straighten a whole lot of feet out.
Yeah. I don't agree 100%, and I'm going to tell you why. I think of us. I think I breed the longer dogs.
There you go.
Right. This is just my view of things. When I've been wanting to fix things, okay, my go-to guy originally, you got to remember, I had XXL females and XL females and whatnot. My go-to guy was this classic right here. And what this classic did, which was amazing to me, by the way, he is off of an XL male and a pocket female Fireball. What Fireball would do is he would make my dogs smaller, but I felt he would reset the length of the femurs. So why do I say that? Because if you're just a little bit off, right? If your dog was say slightly east-west and he's a classic, if you extend that femur 2 inches to meet XL, that slight east-west is going to rotate even more, right? The further out you go, the more rotation you're going to get. That's the reason why I differ from the opinion. Now, if you're referring to pockets and standards, I am completely hands off.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, that's probably what you're referring to. I'm completely hands off. But I'm glad
that's more beefy, that the shoulders and everything cause that to turn a little bit, and the arm don't have enough forearm. Breed it to a taller dog and get that all straightened out.
There's going to be a big difference in what is good feet for an extreme compared to an XL.
That's right.
Yeah. We got Kiku Mosca saying, reason why I ask harsh question. By the way, Kiku, I don't think what you asked was a harsh question at all, is because not all dogs are brood material. And I couldn't agree with you more. As well as the recombination of genes ruins the bloodline despite ancestral relation. I wouldn't say it necessarily ruins the bloodline. With that being said, what's going to happen to say you have a bloodline? So you have 6 generations of this one bloodline. And like I said, those polygenetic chains have now compounded generation after generation, and you kind of got things where you want them, right? But Recessive traits. We all know everything looks good until you do this and it's game over, right? Right. So what I'm saying is, out of a 10 pup litter, say you outcrossed, and I've always said you're going to have 2 pups that are going to be completely amazing. They're going to be what you're looking for. Okay. Maybe the rest of the litter is not what you're looking for, but that doesn't mean that they're not of breed quality. More likely than not, you're going to have 6 or 7 pups that are going to be of breed quality. All right. And then the other ones, if you got to cull, you cull. But here's my point. Those 2 pups that you're going to get, that is what you're looking for, more likely than not, they're going to be carrying the polygenetic codes of your bloodline, because all you're looking is to improve on a particular trait. Say, for example, you have your bloodline is notorious for gay tail, and you bred, and out of the 10, you have 2 pups that don't have a gay tail, and they fall into line to your bloodline. That's a win. You know, as far as I'm concerned, that's a super win. You see what I'm saying? And yes, out of that 10 pup litter, not all puppies are going to be looking like the pup in your bloodline. That's just a fact. Homozygotic, polygenetic change to now heterozygotics. Now you're breaking things up. All right. But
that's why it's important to know your dog and what direction you're going in, because the picks are important. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Once you, I mean, you might find a dog in there and say, you come to me and you said, hey, man, I want to buy your first pick. Like, our first pick, grading wise, may be the 3rd pick for our program. That might be our first pick as the 3rd dog because he fit what we have or what we build it. You know what I mean? What we did the breeding for. But you may love this dog because they got all the qualities you want. And that's why when people come to us, we don't have no picks.
It might be a tri female, and you told yourself before the breeding you want a tri female.
Yeah. But
yeah, normally, what I tell people from the very get is breeders normally don't sell their top picks. What may be a top pick for you may not be a top pick for the breeder, but whatever that top pick is, more likely than not, that breeder ain't going to sell it to you, man. Think about it for just a second. Say you have a breeder that has been breeding now for a while. Let's just say he's selling puppies at $3,000 a puppy. Just an example. And in his kennel, his females are averaging 8 puppies. Let's just throw a number out there. 7 puppies. How's that? Make it nice and round. All right, 7 puppies. So this breeder looks at this female and he's like, okay, I'm going to breed you 3 times. You're going to produce 7 pups each time. More likely than not, you're going to produce 20 pups. At $3,000 a pup, that's $60,000. So really, there's no way you're going to pry this pup off of my hands, right? Oh, I got $10,000 in my hand. Yeah, that's great, but it's not 60, right? You see what I'm saying? And it's going to take me another 6 months wait if I want to reproduce her. Also, I'm going to have to repeat that breeding, whereas it's going to delay my program. So all these other issues start to compound.
And you still probably ain't going to get her again.
And yeah, I've done repeat breedings, and I could tell you guys, I did a repeat breeding between my girl Azu and Fireball, and the second time around, I did not get better females than I did the first time. And that was the main reason why I did it the second time, because I wanted a bigger version of Azu that looked like Fireball. And at the end of the day, I didn't get any. I didn't get it. I didn't get a female that was as good as the ones in my first litter. So I learned a lesson. What lesson did I learn? I learned, look, it's better to have 1 bird in hand than 100 flying. I should have kept the best pick female in the first litter. And then when I did my second litter, if I would have had a better female, I would have kept it. But I didn't. Didn't keep anything. I would have already had my original best pick female. So, you know, you live and you learn. Kingdom Bully saying if they're selling all their top picks, then the only point in breeding is money. Not necessarily. Yes, you're probably right, but not always. Look at the scenario I'm giving you. I rebred Fireball to Azu because I wanted a big female. That's what I wanted that had Fireball's traits. I didn't get it. So there was really no reason for me to keep anything off of that litter. On the original litter, I had kept a male. So there's no need for me to, there was not a better male that second time around. So more likely than not, you're right. I would say 7 out of 10 times, but there are going to be a couple of times that it doesn't work that way. Yeah. Jerry James.
Just with us, if you come to us, our first pick might be your third pick. We pick for our program. So that first pick pup you can end up with if you got a good relationship with us.
Everybody's looking for something different. I mean,
yeah.
Well, when they come to us, they're looking for what we got.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for our program to move ahead, sometimes they think that we create show quality dogs that meet the show quality standards. And for our program, we might want to plan for the next generation and start out with the brood stock biggest burliest female on the litter.
That's right. So our program is like 2 and 3 years down the road. We already tying back up in to start our line breeding. You know what I mean? We're not, people see a breeding and think that's it. And it's like so far, you know what I mean? It's 3 years ahead of that. You know what I mean? So
yeah, recently I did a live and I said, how do you know a good breeder from a bad breeder? Okay. And I came up with 3 things, right? And the first thing is you got to know how to pick, right? And I'm not saying all your picks got to be perfect.
Right.
But out of 10 picks, bro, you better at least hit on 6 of them. Otherwise, you're not getting anywhere. All right. One of the other things I did mention amongst them was you never let anybody know what your next move is. And that's precisely what Gaines is trying to tell you. You're showing up there saying, this is the biggest and baddest. And they're like, this is the one that's going to help us pivot. Right. And pivoting is part of this, guys. Right. Pivoting is part of this. I've seen so many breeders chase a trait like, oh, I don't want gay tails. I'm going to do whatever I can. And then 2 years into it, 2 generations into it, it's like, let me go back. You want the gay tail? I'll take the gay tails over the nuts not dropping and over palate, cleft palate. So everybody has to pivot sooner or later. I can tell you I had to pivot. I mean, you look at the dogs that we've been line breeding through the years, everything revolves around this girl Aruba and her brother Fireball. Mm-hmm. Now they're pretty straight, right? They're pretty clean dogs, right? Are they extreme? No, they're not extreme. These are not extreme dogs, man. I never bred for extreme. I bred for temperament, bred for functionality, bred for everything. But I didn't breed for extreme features. Now I had to change gears. So why are you changing gears? I'm going to tell you why I'm changing gears. Because I've been line breeding for 10 years, slowly inching an inch at a time. The last 5 years, breed type has come in like this community has never seen previous to it. What is it? Well, I do consults pretty much daily. And when your puppy was outcrossed and he's showing up with a Koya 24, it doesn't take a genius to figure out that one of the 2 parents was super heavily inbred. Right? I mean, it just falls off the tree. And so what I started figuring out is a lot of breeders are doing a lot of inbreeding. I don't mean just inbreeding, guys. Father to daughter, that's inbreeding. Mother to son, that's inbreeding. Brother to sister, that's mega.
Yes,
that is mega inbreeding. And that's exactly what they're doing. Because that's how you multiply the traits. That's how you hit forward. You hit the pedal to the metal, man. because these two puppies are pulling from the very same gene pool that's being provided. Now, you could have, say, a 10 pup litter. I keep using 10 because it's an easy number to match, right? And within that 10 pup litter, how many times has it not happened, Donald, that you have, say, 2, maybe even 3 sets of twins? One of the most obvious way of telling them apart is they usually have the same coloration, but then in addition, their body types is a little bit different than the rest of the crowd, and they coincide amongst each other and so forth. And at the end of the day, you actually have twins within that very same gene pool. It means if you grab those 2 twins and you inbreed them, you are bringing in as close of a genetic potential that you could ever get from a mother to son or father to dad, because they could only go 50%. Whereas those 2, at least hypothetically, they could go up to 100%, which is nearly impossible. But just to say that a brother and a sister breeding, you could probably get 75% of each other out of that breeding. Like, bam. Whereas with the dad, you got to inbreed the dad to his daughter. You got to go an extra generation. Go ahead, Ty.
In case some of the newer people that's watching don't understand, what he's saying is, like, the reason that he's putting it that way is when you do that gene pool is right here that they're grabbing from. It's it shrinks that gene pool down rather than having it right here. You're concentrating it.
Yeah, that's essentially what's happening. You're concentrating homogenetic pairs. That's essentially what you're doing. We got Kiku Mazga saying, wouldn't y'all agree that if we keep to the homogeneous state, we can accomplish a dominant gene factor rather than introducing a heterogeneous gene, which results in recessive genes? No, Kiku, I think you're misunderstanding how this works, my friend.
Hey, Raul, can I say something though? He's coming from a completely different breed, an older breed, like Cane Corso, or what did he say earlier? So our breed is a fairly new breed, and we're still very young in doing this and moving through. He's coming from a different breed altogether.
But his logic, in my opinion, and Kiku, I mean no disrespect, man, but I think your logic is flawed, and I'm going to tell you where I think it's flawed. You're saying that in order to accomplish a dominant gene factor, you got to keep things in a homogeneous state, okay? Rather than introducing a heterogeneous gene, which results in recessive genes. Okay, so let me just say this, Kiku, and I'm only saying this for clarification purposes. Recessive genes, okay, it means that they come in pairs, right? So they're either going to be homozygotic or heterozygotic. Now, whether you have them as homozygotic or heterozygotic, it doesn't matter. You're still going to have recessive genes. In fact, it's been proven that the more homozygotic recessive genes you got, sooner or later, you're going to be having deleterious traits. Deleterious traits are traits that nobody wants. That's where you have the cleft palate, puppies with 2 heads, a second tail, some sort of heart issue. I can't think of neurological issues, so on and so forth. So that is one of the main reasons you sidestep a father to daughter breeding, is so you get less of the autosomal recessive traits in the background. But even if you breed father to daughter, there's still going to be some recessive traits that are going to become homozygotic. So keeping everything homozygotic, believe it or not, it's not good for the health of the animal. Right. Now, don't get me wrong. In our breed, especially the XLs, because of the gene pool we're dealing with, you're having to go to a higher koi in order to be able to present the breed type, because our breed is so much more younger. We've only been around for 30 years. And then we started out of pit bulls and staffies. Then bulldogs were introduced into the breed. And then when the XL class was brought along, if giraffes could have been bred into this breed, they would have. They bred into just about any mastiff, any big dog that you could get your hands on. They brought in. So what happened is that diluted our gene pool. And so in order for you to be able to show, you got to come in with these strong homozygote pairs. But in reality, the higher the koi, the more probability for disease. I mean, that's just a fact. Okay. So I hope I was able to clarify that. I got RGB saying, question, when you inbreed dad to daughter, what's the percentage of having aggression issues on the pups? Good question, RGB. First of all, and the reason I like the question is because one of the things that you take into consideration before you inbreed a pup is the parent's temperament. Okay. So you're probably thinking, okay, well, the parents are not aggressive in my house around my kids. Yeah, that's not just it. What you want to know is, first of all, you need to socialize your dogs. We've spoken on that at length, right? So you need to socialize your dogs. If there ever came a time where you can't take the female out or the male because they were becoming, say, aggressive with other dogs, whenever you showed up at Home Depot, one time he went after this one poodle, he was going to kill it. Yeah, I wouldn't inbreed to that, because you don't know when you inbreed to that if you're going to get homozygotic pairs that are going to compound, right? Because you're going to go from one generation to the next. And if they match up, next thing you know, you have a dog that's eating the neighborhood cats. Now you got a bigger problem on your hands, right? Because now your neighbors are pissed.
Yeah.
Right?
That's one you don't want to take the chance on. If you've seen aggression, then I would just cross it out.
No, I couldn't agree with you more. And this is only something that you can only be honest with yourself. I mean, some of us seeing some sort of aggression with a dog or whatever. A lot of people like to kind of, put that under the rug and act like it never happened and this and that. Guys, if you're going to be inbreeding a male and a female, you not only need to do your embark in my recommendation to make sure you're not compounding on deleterious traits, you need to make sure that both dogs are healthy in the mind. So not just an aggressive dog. What if you had a dog that was skittish?
Turns to aggression.
Let me tell you something. Yeah. From skittish to aggression, they're only a stone's throw away from each other. Okay. Dogs will bite more times than not because they're scared or they're being forced into a situation where they are scared rather than because of aggression. Okay. So if you have a dog that's skittish, don't go and breed that, guys. Don't inbreed that, because then you might end up having a dog that's biting someone or a dog or a cat or whatever. And 9 times out of 10, it could have just been prevented by you not inbreeding it. Right. So overly aggressive or skittish, you don't want to inbreed that.
Right? And it doesn't take inbreeding to get that in general. You can get that on an outcross if you're one of the dogs are aggressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you just, like I said again, you need to know your dogs, man. And you need to know how to properly socialize them.
Yeah, and if you're going to inbreed them and you're not 100% sure, find yourself a trainer, pay him $100, $200, be like, look, bro, can you just run a quick test on my dogs? I just want to make sure I'm not going to be reproducing monsters. Mm-hmm. Because at the end of the day, man, reproducing a litter of monsters that are aggressive does your kennel absolutely no good. Okay. once they start talking about you having hot blood or producing hot blood or whatever case may be, and you could have sidestepped it, but instead you went ahead and inbred it. I mean, that's just irresponsible. And social media is pretty much going to be after you. Jeremy, go ahead, man.
It's just easy to pass that down, man. Just to say the dog temperament, he a hot dog, and you just need to know what environment he's in and how he's getting treated and how he's getting socialized. Yeah. If you do that properly, you're gonna have it's not like just have hot dogs all over the place. You might have that one. And after 20 years I've been around dogs, I had a hot dog.
Well, I could tell you it can happen because, genetically, you're always rolling the dice, right? So like you said, out of, say you had 30 pups with that one dog and you had one puppy that was aggressive. Can you really say that dog was producing aggression? No. Right. But that one pup that is aggressive, you need to put down.
Yeah.
You need a cull. There's no spay, neuter, $1,000 back when he's 18 months. None of that, bro. Yeah. Put it down.
Yeah,
put it down.
I don't know. I see dogs that haven't been properly trained, man. Like they just in our house. So I go to somebody's house and see a dog that's just not trained, and you may take that for aggression, but I take that dog 5 minutes on a lead and walk him out. The sweetest damn dog. Like a lot of people don't know what they're doing with the breed.
You got to know whether that dog's personality was maximized or minimized.
There you go.
No, what I'm talking about is the puppy. And I know you guys do the testing whenever you guys have a litter. We test our litters, the famous drop the pot behind the litter and see who cowers and who's at it aggressively. You got to do that with every litter you got. And that's the responsible thing to do. So that way you know what you're dealing with, because these pups, they haven't been impressed by life just yet. So you're getting more of a raw, true nature in them, right? When you're doing these types of testing. Real quick, Jeremy Davis said, I had a phone call and left the live. Oh, no. For a moment, I asked about my pup's koi level, because when I start producing pups, my goal is to breed healthy and fun pups and improving and maintaining breed type. Okay. I feel those goals are appropriate. And I guess Jerry James was answering you. He said, embark parents before breeding, keep koi below 20 on paper. Now, Jerry James brings up a very good point there where he says on paper. Jerry James, by the way, he's good friends with Mike and Donald, definitely a good friend of mine. And we've been talking a lot about genetics and whatnot. He does have, there are some calculations you could do to calculate the koi. Me personally, I got nothing against that, because for hundreds of years, we used to do it that way. The only reason I don't do it that way is because now we have Embark. Embark is going to be anything that you have that's more precise. I suggest you go with it. But definitely, I like the fact that you brought that up, Jerry James.
Yeah, he's good on paper, and you usually every time he's done it for us. When we got our CI, it's usually double the number that he says, and it's damn near on point. Close. It's super close.
By the time he looks at it and then gives you his opinion of it, he's very close to what the Embark is going to say, with his adding his opinion to it.
Right.
Definitely. We have a question from Michael Higginson, and Ty, I want you to take first crack at this question. If you have the perfect opportunity to inbreed, what's the next step you need to have ready to take after an inbreeding? So after you inbreed, what is the next step? What do you do next, Ty?
My head goes straight to an outcross with that pup.
Okay.
Depending on the COI, it may not have to be a full outcross.
Okay.
Some distant relatives, but you don't want anything up close, I wouldn't say.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you consider a cousin to be up close?
I would.
Okay. So how about a second cousin?
It depends on your level of your dog, really, I feel like.
Okay, so say we're dealing with a koi of 30.
30?
Yes.
I wouldn't go to a second cousin.
You wouldn't? You would go to a full outcross?
I think so.
Okay.
I think I'm outcrossing.
Okay. So with a koi of 30, you figure that you'd be outcrossing. But you're pretty much going to undo everything you just did.
Well, in my thinking of, like I said, I don't have the experience you guys do, but in my thinking of it, I'm going to take that pup to an outcross.
Okay.
That pup.
But wait, why are you taking the pup to an outcross? Let's put a scenario, because when you put a scenario, everything falls into place. So let's say you're doing an inbreeding, a full inbreeding, because you want a bed, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you got the big head and you have a koi of 30. What do you do next?
I'm outcrossing to a big-headed stud and then bringing that blood back in on that pup I get off the outcross.
That's what I wanted to hear. So you're phenotypically outcrossing.
Matching phenotypes, but totally different geno.
Okay. How about what do you think about that, Mike and Donald?
I kind of read it differently. And what's the next step you need to take after you do the inbreeding? I kind of viewed it like, now that you've gone really tight, that might be a good time to embark the litter from top to bottom and see what you came out, how successfully you came out according to your inbreeding. You see what health concerns show up, genetic health results, and it's hopefully it was where you could still breed those dogs. But that's when I think it's important to genetic test all the time if you want to continue this for the long haul. But it's really important once you inbreed to start testing. And you might want to test those two dogs before you put them together and see what's going to double up, and see what age of dogs are in that lineage before you decide you want to double up. And you might have genetically, it says it's fine, but if the grandparents both lived to be 3 years old and had a heart attack, you don't really want to just go inbreeding that. Inbreeding to me is a big step, and you need to do it responsibly if you want to create long living, healthy animals.
I say before you even get the inbreeding, I'm gonna go back to know what you're breeding, know your dog, know what you're going after. Like you cannot, like, inbreeding is like the last step, getting back into your line. Like Donald said, you go ahead to genetic testing and all of that, and then you go in there and I would go, instead of just a complete outcross, we have different dogs down the road, like a second cousin or something like that carry everything we got, and we're locking that in, and we're going to line breed all the way out until we get to that point to where we start to notice a decline in our dogs or something in there. Then we'll outcross. But like, I'm not going to go straight from an inbreeding to an outcross. That's just me. But everybody do things different.
I agree with you there, and I also agree with Jerry James here. But I also agree with Ty. So, Ty, if I wanted to completely outcross, then I would be forced to go, phenotypically, right?
Yeah, right.
But if I had a second cousin, let's sit down and think about this for a minute. If I had a second cousin, I have to agree with Jerry James here. Second cousin with variable other lines could actually bring your koi down.
I was about to ask you this. What if I took that pup, okay, that has a koi of 30?
Yes.
I took to a cousin that has a koi of 15. What am I expecting?
What you're expecting is that 15 that he has in there is going to match your 30.
Let's put it on you.
But he's got more heterozygotic traits to open your blood up. But the traits that he has that are more homozygotic have more of a tendency to be in line with what you have.
Okay.
So in other words, it's going to bring your koi down, right? Now it's all recombination, so it's all to throw the dice, right? Yeah. But the combinations that they have at 15 are going to be more in line with your combinations. Yeah. If that makes any sense. But at the same time, you're bringing down the koi.
You can lock things in as you're bringing the koi down.
There's some certain things. So if the line that you're working with has, say, for example, big head. We just spoke on big head. We know it's a recessive trait. So you need on both sides. Otherwise, it's not going to show. Then I would say a second cousin, in my opinion, with a big head phenotypically will trump, in my mind, a complete outcross with a big head. Yeah. Only because it just gives you a little bit more within that line. If that makes any sense. Okay, good deal. Let's see, man. Okay, this is an off the wall comment. I know I'm off topic, but how many times would you recommend letting your male get stuck to your female? As many times possible, as long as she allows it.
Yeah.
You know, I would definitely as long as the female allows it, I would let the male tie with her. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't know. Do you guys have a different answer to that?
No, 3 or 4 times. Usually she's gonna pick the right number.
She gonna dictate that.
Right? She's either gonna turn the tail and let him have it or not. I mean, it's that simple.
Yep.
Who do you got there, man?
That's Lois Lane.
Lois Lane.
4 months
man,
old.
Look at that coat.
Yeah.
Man, she got real tight skin on her too, man.
Yeah, real tight.
I like that.
Is that
a short crop? Huh?
She got an back.
You got her mark back?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we read it the other day, Donald.
Right?
Yeah.
Does she have a short crop or is that a show crop?
It's a kind of a medium short show crop.
Yeah, but she has
right in between.
I get her to stand them up.
Yeah, she has smaller ears, man. She ain't got the big floppy ears. So it's called a short.
Good stuff, man.
Come here. she like scared or something. I don't know what she doing. Yeah. But anyway, I seen her on the sofa over there. I went and grabbed her.
Well, hey, let me ask you this. Do you have her on Nuvet?
Oh, of course.
Well, did you know? Let me ask you this. Be honest about it, because a lot of people just don't know. Did you know that Nuvet has a 60-day money back, 100% satisfaction guarantee?
I didn't.
I heard that recently.
Yeah.
Well, look, check it out. I'm gonna go ahead and put it on screen. Nuvet has a 100% satisfaction guaranteed. It's a 60-day, 100% money back, 100% money back guarantee. Guys, you've been watching us. If you've been watching QBN since forever, you already know that Nuvet and NuJoint DS, I've been turning it for you. NuJoint DS, or double strength, is the only multivitamin and joint support that we use. Now, if you look at our dogs and you go back, way back, let me see if we still have that picture in here. I guess we don't, unfortunately. Either way, if you look at our boy Fire, at one point, believe it or not, this boy was developing a slight east-west because I didn't know better at the time. And I was just feeding this dude kibble without a multivitamin, without joint support, without none of that stuff. Ever since we've been putting him on that, there you go. At 20 weeks, look at him. Look at his feet. They were east-west, right? At 24 weeks, there were slight east-west. We had already started to supplement at 20 weeks. By the time he was 2.5 years old, he was completely clear, and the present, he's clear. Now, my recommendation is to get Nuvet and NuJoint DS. Nuvet is a 90-day supply. And NuJoint DS, the reason I recommend it is because it matches the 90-day supply of the Nuvet. Keep in mind, you can't buy this stuff in stores. Our ordering code is 513237. You can go online and get it. Also, we have it down in the description below. So if you wanted, to go ahead and order it or whatnot, all you got to do is go down to the description and get it from there. Do not wait, guys. Do not wait until your dog is showing east-west to order Nuvet. Not only that, I will tell you, Nuvet has multivitamins, also has anti-cancerous ingredients. So if you have an older dog or anything like that, where you want to make sure that you're taking care of your dog's health, I strongly recommend Nuvet. I don't care if your female's pregnant. I don't care if she just had pups. We use Nuvet all the time. What you got there? You got a bone for her? I can hear you. Yeah, you're muted, Mike.
My bad.
Yeah.
She has a nylabone.
Okay, good deal. Well, listen, man. We're gonna call it. What you got there, man? Y'all bringing them all out.
That's a baby.
Yeah, baby Huey.
Baby Huey.
Baby Huey.
Hey, I was fixing to say, don't tell me that pup's the same age. Mike, what y'all doing? What y'all doing over there, man?
No, they by the feet. They by the feet, and she was on the sofa, man. I had grabbed her, but they been by the feet.
Oh man, that's a pretty pup.
Oh
yeah. Yeah. How old is she now, man?
4 months old.
4 months. 8 generations. She 8 generations in.
Oh, okay,
Live
man.
breed.
8 generations.
Outcross once.
That's a trophy.
Yeah, she was no health concerns. I was sure glad to see that.
None. Yep. Well, you seen it. You see the embark on her.
Yeah, I seen the embark. I was actually pretty impressed with her. Good stuff, man. I actually just sent a text to my wife. I want to give her a minute. I told her to go ahead and bring me Blueberry. I don't know if he's.
Yeah, I want to see that.
If you give me a charger, go ahead. Huh?
I'm gonna have to grab a charger real quick. I'll be right back.
Go ahead, man. No issues. Yeah. I'm hoping that she got my message. I told her she has about a minute to bring him in here. He is something else, man. But either way, dang, I was kind of hoping Ty was here because I was about to say we're going to close it out. And I seen a couple of messages over here by Kiku Mazga. And Kiku, man, I really appreciate you, bro. I've seen a lot of messages that you're definitely dropping here. I love to see you as a member because, to be quite honestly, we don't answer non-member questions most of the time. But you seem to want a challenge, and I definitely don't shy away from them. So if you become a member and you come with those questions, we'll definitely answer for you, bro.
And you get a spin.
Yeah, and you get a spin.
Yeah, all them questions will add up.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. But listen, we're going to go ahead and call it a night. Hopefully, never mind. She heard me. Bring him over here.
She heard you.
Oh, yeah, she heard me. Look,
Let's see him.
Look who we got over here.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
That's BB King.
Yeah.
He was 8, 9 weeks. Look at that.
Yeah, 9 weeks. Blueberry King. He's afraid of heights, man. So I got to grab him like this on purpose. Yeah. Otherwise, he doesn't like heights. Being as heavy as he is, I understand it, man. But check him out, bro. Chillest little puppy you could ever see. Has an amazing front that you can't see here, even if I wanted to show you. Yeah. But what gets me about this boy more than anything is the neck. He got a neck. He has a neck on him for days, man. I'm really excited for
neck,
this boy.
Shoulder, rear, head,
bone.
Bone.
Yeah.
if you haven't seen our shorts with Blueberry King, BBK, make sure to check it out, man. That's his name right here. I wanted to name him Blueberry, but then Gaines, Mike Green said, no, you got to call him Mr. Blueberry. I was like, no, we ain't calling him Mr. Blueberry. Then Michael Higginson was like, hey, man. Michael Higginson called me like he was talking from inside a closet. He said, hey, man. He said, hey, I got a name for you, man. He says, you know, BB King, he was the king of blues, man. So this boy could be the king of blues. So, hey, we decided BB King, Blueberry King. Boom, there you have it, man.
Yeah.
Right? Say hi, Bubbles. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yep.
Hey, let's go ahead and close it out. We're going to start it out with Hollywood. Go ahead, Hollywood.
It's your boy Hollywood Holland, your boy in the back at the queue, and we're catching you on the next one.
All right, we got Gaines Bullies.
Mike Green down the games, man. Nice talking with y'all, man. Hey, don't forget about them Cowboys, man.
Cowboys.
Go Cowboys.
Don't start.
Ty Guthrie.
Brahmin Bull Bullies, all socials. Check us out.
You got it, man. Hey, you already know, man. We do this every Monday, 8 p.m. CST. It's been Roll from the Queue, catching you on the next one.